can we include more creativity in our life? Creativity helps us to make our life more interesting because we explore what is inside us. Being more creative is about exploring what you're curious about or what you're interested in. Maybe you always thought about writing, dancing, or designing. The creative process we will talk about today is from Steven Pressfield's book, The Artist's Journey. So while working on becoming more creative, we also have to consider paying our bills, staying away from addictions, tending to our loved ones, dealing with self-doubt and criticism, being confident in our skills, finishing your work, and persisting in spite of failure. The creative process begins with inspiration, when we have ideas coming to our mind. Then we get started with a project, and then we'll find resistance and realize that things are not that easy. But if you keep working, your muse will find you, and the process will get easier for some time. Let Steven Pressfield explain it in his own words. What is the artist's journey?
It's answering the question, who am I? What is my gift? What's my voice? Who am I? Yeah. And that's really hard.
What is resistance?
Resistance is this negative force of self-sabotage that will work against us anytime we try to move from a lower level to a higher level, ethically, morally, creatively. If you have an idea for a book, if you have an idea for a podcast, if you have an idea for this studio or something that you want to do, a voice will come into your head right immediately that will say, who are you to put this thing together? This has been done 1,000,000 times, and it's been done better than you ever could do or ever would do. You're too old, you're too young, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you don't have enough education, you have too much education, et cetera, et cetera. What makes that so powerful against us is we think it's our own thoughts. We think, oh, that's me assessing the situation objectively, but it's not. It's this other siren voice, this force that's just out there, that's a fact of nature. And once we can say, oh, that's not me, that kind of is the key to the whole thing.
That overcoming resistance is far more important than talent. There are 1,000,000 people who have talent, but it's a very, very few that can sit down, and take it all the way from, A to Z.
Resistance, like death, gives meaning to life. The real resistance, I think, for me, and I think this is true for anybody, is the question of sort of what's the next idea? What's the next book? What's the next project that you're going to work on? And when I ask that question, I'm asking it of the muse. I'm kind of saying, what do you want me, or I'm asking it of my unconscious.
How to defeat resistance.
And once I could sort of give a name to it, then I could say, okay, now I have something I can deal with. How can I overcome this? Can I develop habits that will help me overcome it? Can I organize my day in such a way? Can I change my mindset in such a way of disassociating this concept of resistance, this fact of resistance, from your own identity? Show up every morning. You have to, have habits that reinforce what you're doing. You have to work every day, just like a blue-collar guy with a whistle in the factory, A
pro gets up every morning and does the work, doesn't take days off, or if they do, they only take them off so they can come back
refreshed,
stronger the next time.
That's right.
And when a pro hits adversity, they just simply rally in the face of it and kind of use it in their own way. If a pro is hurt, they play hurt, and it's a whole different mindset. So to me, that was sort of what really helped me overcome resistance. It was just to start to flip that switch in my mind and say, I'm a pro. I'm not an amateur, I'm a pro.
Where is the muse?
Eventually the muse will come to you,
Yes.
I believe the muse kind of flies over us every day and kind of looks down to see if we're working, if we're doing our work. And if we are, sooner or later, the magic will happen,
Where do you find inspiration?
I'm a believer in the muse, and I believe that projects kind of come to us almost like assignments, and that we have to follow them, or at least that's my theory. I only want to write what I want to write. Not everybody does that. A lot of people like to kind of write for hire, But in that case, again, not only can't we control our level of talent, I believe, but we can't even control what we're going to work on. Like I've always said that the books that I've written, I never knew I was going to write them before I wrote them. And I was always surprised.
What can you control in the creative process?
How professionally we work, how we manage our emotions, how we manage our expectations, how we deal with failure, and what our level of aspiration is, how hard we're going to try, how patient we are.
Yeah. So now that you have a better idea of what is involved in the creative process, next time when you want to be more creative, remember that your muse will find you and will help you out as long as you are working. So if you enjoyed this video, remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you know next time I upload a new video. Thank you for watching and see you next time.